An empire of unimaginable wealth and power, a dynasty that ruled a vast and diverse subcontinent for over 3 centuries, a legacy etched in marble, immortalized in art, and whispered through the grand halls of magnificent palaces. This is the story of the Mughal Empire. Our story begins not in India, but in the heart of Central Asia, with a prince in exile, Zahiruddin Muhammad, better known as Babur, the Tiger. A descendant of 2 of history's greatest conquerors, Timur on his father's side and Genghis Khan on his mother's, Babur was a man of formidable lineage and a ravenous desire to build his own empire. Driven by the desire to emulate his ancestor Timur, Babur's early ambition was to reclaim Timur's great capital, Samarkand. However, after multiple failed attempts to hold the city against the rival Uzbeks, he was forced to turn his ambitions south. Establishing a base in Kabul in 1504, his attention shifted to the fabled wealth of Hindustan. The meager resources of Kabul made the conquest of rich India a strategic necessity. Babur justified his claim to Hindustan through his Timurid heritage, considering the lands of the Punjab his rightful inheritance since they had been conquered by Timur in 1398. The timing was perfect. The Delhi Sultanate under Ibrahim Lodi was weakened by internal rebellions. Seeing an opportunity and invited by discontented nobles like Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, Babur marched into India. The decisive moment came on April 21, 1526, at the First Battle of Panipat. Though vastly outnumbered, Babur's smaller, disciplined army possessed a crucial advantage: gunpowder firearms and field artillery, a novelty in Indian warfare. His superior strategy shattered Lodi's forces, and with this single victory, Babur captured Delhi and Agra, laying the foundation for a lasting empire he could not achieve in Central Asia. He declared himself the Emperor of Hindustan. Babur's son, Humayun, inherited a fledgling empire, but his reign was fraught with challenges. He struggled to consolidate the territories his father had conquered and was soon confronted by the rise of a formidable Afghan leader, Sher Shah Suri. A brilliant strategist and gifted administrator, Sher Shah defeated Humayun at the battles of Chausa 1539 and Kannauj 1540, forcing him into a 15-year exile. While Sher Shah established the short-lived but profoundly influential Sur Empire, Humayun sought refuge in the sophisticated court of Shah Tahmasp I of Persia. This period of exile proved to be a turning point, transforming the very fabric of Mughal culture. Humayun was deeply immersed in the high culture of the Safavid dynasty, a beacon of art and refinement. Art and architecture. He was captivated by Persian miniature painting and persuaded 2 master artists, Mir Saeed Ali and Abd al-Samad, to join his court. They would become the pioneers of the Mughal school of painting, blending Persian intricacy with Indian vibrancy. He also absorbed Persian architectural concepts like the Charbagh Garden and the Double Dome, which were masterfully realized in his own tomb in Delhi, a precursor to the Taj Mahal commissioned by his wife Hamida Banu Begum and designed by Persian architect Mirak Mirza Ghiyas. Administration and courtly culture. Humayun observed the centralized Safavid model of governance and courtly etiquette. With crucial military and financial aid from Shah Tahmasp I, he reclaimed his throne in 1555. He returned not just with an army, but with a large retinue of Persian nobles, artists, and scholars who helped transform his court from a nomadic Central Asian monarchy into a cosmopolitan imperial culture, and solidified Persian as the official language of the court. Just a year after his triumphant return, Humayun died after a fall down his library stairs, leaving the fate of his culturally reshaped empire in the hands of his young son. From the ashes of uncertainty rose a titan. At just 13 years old, Humayun's son, Akbar, ascended the throne. He would not only reclaim and consolidate the empire, but expand it across nearly the entire Indian subcontinent, forging a new, inclusive identity for his realm. Akbar was a brilliant military commander, but his true genius lay in governance. He introduced the Mansabdari system, a revolutionary administrative framework that became the steel frame of the empire. This system integrated all civil and military officials into a single, unified hierarchy. Each official, or Mansabdar, was given a rank determined by dual numbers: Zat, personal rank and salary, and Sawar, cavalrymen to be maintained. This sophisticated system gave Akbar a centralized bureaucracy and a highly organized army, enabling efficient rule over his vast territories. Perhaps Akbar's most revolutionary policy was his quest for religious harmony. In 1575, at his new capital, Fatehpur Sikri, he established the Ibadat Khana, or House of Worship. Initially a forum for Sunni Islamic scholars, Akbar grew disillusioned by their bitter disputes and opened the debates to all. On Thursday evenings, theologians and mystics from every faith, Hindus, Jains, Zoroastrians, Christians, Sikhs, and even atheists, gathered to discuss the nature of God, ethics, and salvation. From these dialogues, Akbar concluded that all religions contained elements of truth and led to the same ultimate reality. This formed the basis of his policy of Sul-i-Kul, or universal peace. This spirit of inquiry led him to promote a syncretic creed in 1582 called Din-i-Ilahi, or the religion of God. It was less a new religion and more an ethical system centered on the emperor, blending monotheism from Islam, reverence for light from Zoroastrianism, and non-violence from Jainism. Membership was exclusive, with initiates pledging their life and honor to Akbar. Though it never gained more than a handful of followers and died with him, Din-i-Ilahi stands as a pioneering effort in interfaith dialogue and pluralism. The 17th century ushered in the zenith of Mughal splendor, a time of unparalleled artistic and architectural achievement. Akbar's son, Jahangir, inherited a stable and prosperous empire, allowing him to pursue his passion for the arts. Under his patronage, Mughal miniature painting reached new heights of refinement. However, as Jahangir increasingly struggled with addictions to opium and alcohol, the real power behind the throne was his 20th wife, Empress Nur Jahan. Born Mehr-un-Nisa, she became one of the most powerful women in Mughal history, effectively ruling the empire. Her influence was so absolute that coins were minted in her name, and she co-signed imperial orders, or firmans, privileges unheard of for a Mughal empress. She appointed her family to high office and proved to be a brilliant administrator and strategist. A great patron of culture, Nur Jahan commissioned the tomb of her father, Itimad-ud-Dawla. This architectural masterpiece, with its extensive use of white marble and intricate inlay work known as pietra dura, is considered a direct precursor to the Taj Mahal. It was Jahangir's son, Shah Jahan, who would become known as the Builder King. His reign is hailed as the Golden Age of Mughal architecture. He gave the world the Red Fort and the Jama Masjid in Delhi. But his most iconic creation was born from love and loss. In memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, Shah Jahan commissioned the Taj Mahal. Built of pristine white marble and inlaid with precious stones, this mausoleum took over 2 decades to complete and remains the most famous symbol of the Mughal legacy. But this golden age was shattered by a brutal family conflict. The Mughal tradition lacked a clear law of primogeniture, making every succession a potential war. When Emperor Shah Jahan fell gravely ill in 1657, it triggered the most devastating war of succession in the empire's history. The 4 princely contenders were a study in contrasts. Dara Shikoh, the eldest and favored heir, was a scholar and mystic who, like Akbar, championed a syncretic Hindu-Muslim culture. Shah Shuja, governor of Bengal, was ambitious but pleasure-loving. Murad Bakhsh, the youngest in Gujarat, was brave but politically naive. And Aurangzeb, the 3rd son in the Deccan, was a brilliant general, a shrewd administrator, and a devoutly orthodox Muslim who saw Dara's liberalism as heresy. While Shuja and Murad hastily declared themselves emperors, Aurangzeb made a cunning pact with Murad, promising to partition the empire while secretly planning to take it all. The combined armies of Aurangzeb and Murad first crushed Dara's forces at the Battle of Darmat in April 1658. The decisive clash came a month later at the Battle of Samugar. Aurangzeb's superior generalship and battle-hardened troops completely routed Dara Shikoh's larger but ill-managed army. Following this victory, Aurangzeb marched on Agra, seized the treasury, and placed his own father, Shah Jahan, under house arrest in the Agra fort. The builder of the Taj Mahal would spend his last 8 years as a prisoner, cared for by his daughter Jahanara, gazing at his wife's tomb from his window. Aurangzeb then ruthlessly eliminated his rivals. He had his ally Murad imprisoned and executed. He defeated Shuja, who fled and was later killed. Dara Shikoh, after a final defeat at the Battle of Deorai, was betrayed, captured, and paraded through Delhi as a heretic before being executed in 1659. The path to the throne was clear. Having secured the throne through a brutal civil war, the reign of Aurangzeb was marked by relentless expansion and a stark shift in policy that would sow the seeds of the empire's decline. A devout and orthodox Muslim, his policies were a sharp departure from the tolerance of his predecessors. He reinstated the jizya tax on non-Muslims and ordered the destruction of some Hindu temples, alienating large segments of the population. A brilliant military commander, Aurangzeb expanded the empire to its greatest geographical extent. Much of his reign was consumed by long and costly campaigns in the Deccan against the rising Maratha power led by the brilliant Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji pioneered guerrilla warfare tactics known as Ganimi Kawa that proved remarkably effective against the large conventional Mughal armies. His strategies included hit-and-run raids, swift surprise attacks on Mughal supply lines, followed by a rapid retreat into the mountains. Strategic use of terrain, leveraging the rugged Western Ghats and a network of over 300 forts for defense and as launching points for raids. Intelligence and deception, using a highly efficient spy network to gather intelligence for surprise attacks like the daring 1663 raid on the Mughal general Shaista Khan. This constant unconventional warfare drained the imperial treasury. Furthermore, the induction of many new nobles from the conquered Deccan territories into the Mansabdari system created a severe shortage of land grants or jagirs, sparking an institutional decay that would cripple the empire. After Aurangzeb's death in 1707, the mighty empire began to crumble. The decline was driven by a perfect storm of internal decay and external pressures. Destructive wars of succession became the norm, depleting the treasury and destabilizing the government. Aurangzeb's successors were largely weak rulers, often puppets in the hands of powerful court factions. The administrative machinery broke down, fueled by the Jagirdari crisis. A shortage of available jagirs for a growing number of nobles, Bey-Jagiri, led to intense competition and long waits for land grants. This had devastating effects. Nobles failed to maintain their required troop quotas, weakening the army, and oppressed the peasantry to extract wealth quickly, leading to widespread rebellions. The empire was dealt a catastrophic blow in 1739 by the Persian ruler Nadir Shah. At the Battle of Karnal, his disciplined army of 55,000 crushed the unwieldy Mughal force of 300,000 in less than 3 hours. Nadir Shah then unleashed a horrific massacre in Delhi, slaughtering up to 100,000 civilians. He plundered the city, carrying away treasures so immense, including the legendary peacock throne and the Koh-i-Noor diamond, that he suspended taxes in Persia for 3 years. This invasion shattered Mughal prestige and bankrupted the treasury, accelerating the empire's collapse. The final act came with the Indian Rebellion of 1857. By then, the last emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was an elderly poet king whose authority was confined to Delhi. When rebellious sepoys proclaimed the 81-year-old Zafar their leader, he became a powerful unifying symbol for the revolt. After the British brutally recaptured Delhi, Zafar was captured, his sons and grandson were executed, and he was subjected to a show trial for treason. Exiled to Rangoon, Burma, he died in 1862. With his exile, the British Parliament passed the Government of India Act 1858, formally abolishing the Mughal Empire and transferring power to the British Crown.
Though the empire is long gone, its legacy is woven into the very fabric of the Indian subcontinent. The Mughals left behind a unique architectural style that blended Persian, Turkic, and Indian traditions, giving the world some of its most iconic monuments. They were patrons of a distinctive style of miniature painting, renowned for its vibrant colors and intricate details. Their influence can be tasted in the rich flavors of Mughlai cuisine, heard in the cadence of the Urdu language, and seen in the administrative systems that were later adapted by the British. They fostered a remarkable fusion of cultures and, for a time, created a unified state that stretched across the subcontinent.
The story of the Mughal Empire is a story of conquest and consolidation, of breathtaking beauty and brutal warfare, of tolerance and intolerance. It is a testament to the heights of human achievement and the fragility of power. A chapter in India's history that continues to fascinate and inspire.